All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to peel back the layers on one of the zodiac's most charming and, yeah, most complex signs, Libra. Let's start with this gem. It's from a 1979 guide, and it just nails it, right? It immediately tells you that for Libra, love isn't just a feeling. It's an aesthetic choice. So let's get right into it. Who is the real Libra anyway? You know, they're ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty, and their symbol is the scales of justice, which, fun fact, is the only inanimate object in the entire zodiac. That's kind of telling, isn't it? Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. On the surface, you've got this diplomatic, charming, social butterfly, right? The person who just wants everyone to get along. But underneath all that, oh, there's a whole other story. We're talking about a deep, deep hatred of ugliness, a real craving for admiration, and a stubborn streak that you would not believe. And that famous indecisiveness, it all clicks into place when you realize it's not about being flaky. It's about this constant, intense need to weigh every single option to find the perfect, most balanced outcome. It's gotta be just right. So how does all this play out in the arena they're most famous for? I'm talking about love and relationships, of course. For Libra, romance isn't just romance. It is the ultimate art form. Yeah, you look at sources from the 70s all the way to today, and they all say the same thing. Libras are masters of romance. For them, seduction isn't some brute force thing. It's a delicate dance. It needs the perfect setting, the perfect words, a whole atmosphere of beauty. And you want to know a huge turnoff? Talking about money or really anything coarse that might burst that beautiful bubble. Their whole worldview is social. It's all about me plus you. Partnership is just their natural state of being. And this quote just captures that classic Libra indecisiveness perfectly. See, it's not that he doesn't want to. It's that deep-seated, almost obsessive need for the moment to be perfectly balanced. Is the lighting right? Is the mood perfect? Does this choice feel 100% correct? That hesitation, that's the eternal perfectionist in them, hard at work. All right, but what happens when all the polite conversation is over, when the social graces fall away and the lights go down? Let's pull back the velvet rope and get into the more private, sensual side of the sign of the scales. So to really get inside their head, you have to ask the big question. What is Libra's ultimate sexual fantasy? What does perfect even look like for them behind closed doors? Well, one source uses this amazing word, sybaritic. It means being fond of sensuous luxury and pleasure, basically decadent. And that is such a perfect descriptor for Libra. See, their ultimate fantasy isn't really about one specific act. No, it's about creating an entire atmosphere of luxurious, over-the-top, sensuous pleasure. So how do you build that atmosphere? Well, astrologer Stephanie Gailing kind of lays out a playbook. It starts with a shopping trip for beautiful, expensive things. Then you create this incredibly luxurious environment, a fancy hotel, champagne, roses, the works. You bring in beautiful textures, think designer lingerie or even fur. And finally, you use mirrors, special lighting. It's all about aesthetics. Every single detail has to appeal to their senses. And going back to that 1979 guide, it paints this really detailed and, yeah, kind of retro picture. The Libra male, he's called the erotic technician. Super patient, a master of foreplay. The Libra female, on the other hand, is the artist of seduction. She's described as provocative, theatrical, and the text even mentions Venus flytrap muscle control, which is quite a visual. But notice the common thread. They both need an audience. They need to be admired, even if that audience is just their own reflection in a mirror. Okay, let's fast forward a bit. If we look at more modern discussions, like what you might find on Reddit, a really interesting and maybe surprising kink pops up again and again with Libra, and it ties directly back to their core symbol. And here's the logic coming straight from a user. They said, I think I mainly put shibari there because of the suspension elements. I don't know why, but that reminds me of Libra. And that's the key, right there. Shibari, the Japanese art of rope bondage, is as much about aesthetics and form as it is about restraint. The visual balance, the intricate patterns, and especially that idea of suspension. It's like a perfect living metaphor for the Libra scales. So now that we've had a peek inside their world of balanced beauty and sensuality, who do they actually connect with? Who can be that perfect counterweight on their scales of love? When it comes to astrology, compatibility is literally all about the angles. On the one hand, you've got what's called a trine. Think of it as an easy, harmonious connection, like you see with fellow air signs Gemini and Aquarius. The energy just flows. On the other hand, you have the square. This is a more challenging, tense aspect, like with the cardinal signs Cancer and Capricorn. It's not impossible, but it definitely creates more friction because their core energies can clash. So what's the bottom line? Well, Libra is going to thrive with signs that just get their social, intellectual, and adventurous side. Partners who add to the beauty and excitement of life. The tough spots, those often come with signs that might feel a little too critical, like Virgo, or maybe a bit too emotionally intense, like Cancer. So let's bring it all home. What does this all mean for you? Maybe you're a Libra, or maybe you love one. How do you actually connect with this fascinating sign of beauty and balance? Okay, so if we boil down everything we've talked about, it comes down to a few key things. First, give them sincere compliments, but not just on their looks. Admire their intelligence, their taste. They've worked really hard on those things. Second, create a beautiful setting. Libras hate ugliness, but they absolutely adore luxury and good taste. Third, appeal to their intellect. For Libra, a great conversation about art or culture, that's basically foreplay. And finally, and this is a big one, be patient. You have to understand that their indecision isn't personal. It comes from that deep, deep need to create something absolutely perfect with you. And that really leaves us with a fascinating final question, doesn't it? In their constant quest for the perfect union, is the Libra lover creating a true art form, or are they trying to solve an impossible equation? Is this endless search for balance and beauty the very definition of romance, or is it a chase for an ideal so flawless it can never really exist? Something to think about.